computer because I did iPad last. All right. So let's do our recap meeting. Go ahead, Edson, kick us off with whatever your thoughts are.
So first off, again, appreciate y'all for being on top of everything because that was smooth as hell. Annika, Chris with the smooth transitions. So appreciate that. Obviously with the demo tracking as well as the music, it was like super smooth today. It was phenomenal. Obviously, I really liked that like tag team type of thing where it's like sometimes. So here's the thing: what I really like is sometimes where maybe I don't necessarily know like what I'm going to be saying next, or if there's just not like much to talk about, we can kind of keep like that dialogue, right? Mm-hmm. So there's that. At the same time, like I was mentioning to you over the text, Marianne, they get to hear other people, so it's like not just me, and they're not just hearing me. So it's like it's a good refresher, and it's just a good way. You know, sometimes when Marianne would take over, I just like text you guys like, hey, you know, who's going to give a phone tip or something like that. So I think it went really well. As far as like evaluating myself, I think it went better than Sunday. Of course, it's a smaller phone jam, so it was a little bit more manageable on my end. I think there were definitely times where I could kind of up the tonality, up the energy, and you know, kind of get it up there a little bit more. But as far as like just kind of like the fillers, I think I did a great job of that. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't look at the what is it called?
Script sheets.
The script, but the times. I'm not. Yes, the agenda. Anyone can sell Cutco, so I did not really look at the agenda like that. So I definitely know that for next time I need to make sure I have it planned out. And I'm even thinking in my head planning out an agenda for every single phone jam. So like 7 to 8 for Tuesdays, this is the agenda. And then obviously like changing up a couple of things here and there. Sundays and Thursdays, since it's the same time, 6 to 8, this is the agenda. And then Saturdays, 9 to 10:30, this is going to be the agenda. So I think, you know, having that mapped out will definitely help out next time. I put that on myself for not having that ready to go. And then I did use one of the stories, which was solid. I think definitely incorporating those a little bit more will be good for sure. But that's my feedback. So, you know, improvement, but still a ways to go.
I think Edson's being so hard on himself because I actually gave him a 10 out of 10 today, right? Come on, guys, right? He killed it. That was like the best one yet. And to piggyback off of what you're saying, right? With the agenda, it's kind of like a manual. You just need it in the beginning, right? You don't really need to follow the agenda as long as you share the lead. You know in your mind, all right, let's share the leaderboard at this, you know, like a couple of times, and you're good. And you know your promotions, like if you need to promote certain events, like you're good. But the agenda was just there for people who just got started. But other than that, I thought you ran the phone jam better without it. You know what I mean? So it helped you. It seemed like it helped you focus more on engaging, and that's kind of how it needs to be. So I have a quick question for you. What was different this time, Edson? Right? Because this was like totally 180 in terms of like night and day type of improvement. So you did so good. I wanted to know what changed for you.
I think the big thing was evaluating the last one, taking a look at that, and then obviously having everything a little bit more prepared and just having it down a little bit more. I mean, like I said the other day, some things you kind of have to learn with experience, and I feel like this is one of them where you just have to knock out like those first phone jams out of the way. But I was able to look at the chat a little bit more. I have that kind of ready to go. I have my phone jam agenda right here. And I think what really helped, again, that like double screen, I have the times, or not the times, but the demos that people set, so I can like rattle it off and talk about it. So I think just having that down a little bit more definitely helped out. And then just bringing a little bit more energy. Again, I feel like there's still a lot that I can bring, but I started to have ideas where I'm like, hey, maybe I should bring in like more hand stuff and like more dancing type of things. And I'm a big FIFA person, so like FIFA celebrations, and I'm like that might work. So who knows? But yeah, I definitely think that that helped out a ton. Was just having like an idea of what I need to have in front of me, where it's going to be at, and then at the same time making sure to look at everyone. I know with the agenda, it does help me to like keep in mind that I should talk about several things, which I think is another thing that I might have been able to work on. But overall, I mean, it was more solid. It felt a lot easier, and it was good that it was a smaller group because then I can engage more. And I think that was one thing I did pretty well. It's like, hey guys, hands up, and then like people put their hands up, and I'm just like, yes. So
Awesome.
those are like the main things that I really saw. But of course, more improvement is to come for sure.
Solid, solid. So let me have Annika go because she has to go soon. But Annika, if you have any comments you want to say, and also all the stuff I randomly texted you to write down, that'd be great if you share them. But go ahead, Annika.
Edson, you're fire. Your show was awesome. You were super engaging, and you already called it out, but it was something I wanted to say, like specifically saying like, hey, I'm waiting for you to get your hands up, and like stuff like that, calling people out. That was just super on point tonight. She had me write down a few fire lines. It was at the end, so I only got a couple, but we got another caller, another dollar. Phone time is money time, obviously. I liked your whole, when you're going over the leaderboards and you're like 15 calls, like taking flight in the night.
Yeah,
that was awesome. And then
that was pure acapella.
Nice.
Yeah, you're feeling it. And then the SLD on 3.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's definitely something that I like a lot.
Let's do that. Let's start incorporating that in the other phone jams too. Like that's how we'll end the night.
Yeah.
SLD on 3. Boom.
And then the only kind of like tech issue that I ran into was that volume thing. And there isn't really a fix with that, right? I just kind of have to adjust it as I go.
I don't think there is. I think it happens like every time you share the screen again. But I mean, I personally think it went smooth, compared to like Sunday. So that was amazing for me.
Yeah.
That happened when I was doing it last week, Marianne?
No, that's what I'm gonna say. Like, I actually don't think it happens on Spotify. I think this might be a YouTube thing. That's my
Maybe
theory.
because it's an actual window, that's why on YouTube.
Mhm.
Well, there's the thing. I was using Spotify on the web browser when I was doing it last week.
Yeah, same.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
Have you-
because I don't
have you updated
recall.
anything? Have you updated your Zoom?
I'm not sure if it needs an update right now, but I'll check that definitely.
See if that does anything.
Yeah.
I mean, updates, they may or may not, but that's a first step to take. And then Ted and I and Marianne and whoever else can kind of just play around with it after hours and see what like the sharing thing goes with the volume.
Yeah, there is an update, so I'll do that after this call.
Okay, that might be it too. Okay, cool. Any other comments or thoughts, Annika, of what you think worked well today, or what made the biggest difference?
I definitely just really felt the support from everybody, just on the group me, and just whenever there were little tweaks that needed to be done, I totally felt like we were all communicating really well. So I really appreciated that. And Edson taking time to also be able to communicate with us was really great on top of, all of his hosting. But yeah, it was a really good one.
Perfect.
I just want to make a point while Annika's still here too, because since you guys are kind of like all confirming it, that's actually the reason why I think these first phone jams, when Marianne, me, Ted were all doing it, is because we had this whole communication. Now, a lot of the other offices, they might kind of like clock in, clock out, like, hey, I just got to do this real quick, and then, head out. You can, but now you guys can kind of see why everything runs smoothly is because like you really have to work as a like co-unit versus just I'm clocking in, I just got to tally this up, I'm out, or I'm just gonna observe and kind of just see. Like we're always, even for me, example, like I have no ties with Petco, but I'm still here, kind of just like what are the small tweaks that I can help out Marianne, Ted, Day, etc. And I think that's a big culture that you guys might need to continuously kind of show off because like we did it, cool, great. Now you guys have your group, but you also have to kind of show that to other offices as well, because if they kind of just try to dip their toes in and then kind of, you know, go in and out, it's not going to run smooth. But if they see it from like you guys who kind of just started fresh and then working at the same caliber, that's something that's going to be a little bit more easy to spread out to everyone. And then everyone will kind of like troubleshoot like, hey, this happened at my meeting, and you can kind of like pull from that. So that's going to help like the overall fullness of this whole phone jam thing that's kind of being created. So keep that in mind when you're now working versus you know, I think you guys kind of just started like, okay, this is just some tasks to do, but now you're actually experiencing the whole like team effort that it really takes of making this like a wedding now. It's basically a phone jam wedding.
Yep. Yep. This is essentially a event production. Like there's so much that goes behind event production. If you guys have done it before, you would know, but there's so much. But this is like vector version of event production. So we're gonna something exciting I'll say well before you go, Annika, is I got approval from JBRAD to do some type of certification for this program where if someone completes, like, I don't know the numbers yet, but for example, if someone completes 2 phone jam trainings, like attends the training and then actually runs like 3 phone jams, then you'll get a certification in the mail, like some type of certificate that says that you are so certified. So right now, I think he called it like online event coordination certification. It's so long. So so I'm gonna work.
That's
What
JBRAD
was it?
for
Say it
you.
again.
Of course, he'd make it long.
Online what?
Online event coordination certification.
That's JBRAD for you. Of course, he'd make it. He made you, me, and Ted division administration executives. And it used to be longer. We cut it down.
So if you guys have any ideas on certain titles, then let me know because I'm open to it. But I'm definitely trying to figure out what we're going to exactly call it. But that is going to be in the works starting this week. We're going to create this sort of certification program, and we'll mail you a certificate. So good things to come. All right, so Annika, you can hop off if you want, but I do want to give a chance for other people to talk. So do you, but thank you so much for your hard work, right? We love you, and then we'll see you whenever we see you.
Guys, so much. I'm sorry that I have to hop off early, but really appreciate it, and have a great rest of your night.
You too. Okay, so open floor, right? Chris, Ted, Day, Herbie, y'all want to go next? I would say answer these 2 things. What could have gone better and what went really well tonight? What did you guys like?
I'll go first before I forget things.
Yeah, go.
I forget things easily. Wait, what are the questions again?
Me.
So I was looking at my notes because I was writing things down.
Okay. What went well and what could have gone better, or any suggestions?
Okay, so just like the flip side. So for Edson, well, I kind of was just focusing more so on the host. So pretty much I think Ted can talk more on the admin side. For Chris, that's not my department. But one thing that when I was observing, one thing I did like is when you guys kind of like back and forth co-hosted that one dude that had to like leave for dinner, but he was still able to make his calls and kind of dip out. I know naturally for people, they might feel a little hesitant to kind of just like leave because some people might feel obligated, like, hey, I still got a call, but then there's family time. But the way that you guys kind of presented it, it was very very nurturing. So it's kind of like, oh, cool, I can still do my business and I can still have my family time dinner and without a conflict. So that's one thing that I did admire because I mean, at least just culture-wise, we can only take so much to have people feel comfortable on this digital platform. For you, Edson, I'm not gonna grade as high as Marianne, but I will give you a 9.5. Because that little space of improvement that can always be a little bit better.
I mean, I'm giving myself like a 7. So
Oh my
that's good.
goodness. You needed more than a 7. 7 was Sunday. Okay, that was like last.
Yeah, you might be the same type of person where I am.
Sunday was like
We grade
5.
ourselves low. We grade ourselves naturally low, but I mean for others to kind of see the work that we've grown. So this is kind of like a motto that I don't know if you guys knew, but like previously I used to be on a hip hop like dance choreography team, and then my directors always instilled practice not till you get the move right, but till you can't get it wrong. So I think like when you're speaking earlier about making your agenda and doing whatever you need to do, keep practicing it until you can't get those lines wrong. Because earlier when we did the run through, I'm like, hey dude, that was a 10. But now work on that endurance, because like that was just like a 2-minute run through. So cool, great, you got it. But now you got to do that for an hour.
Yeah.
And then let's say there's a bigger phone jam. Now you got to do that for 2 hours plus with maybe 2 or 3 times the people. So that would be my only tip, is now work on your endurance. Like you already know what you have when we were practicing earlier. Now just keep multiplying so you can still have that same energy in your voice. Like have a glass of water so you can refresh vocal cords, because that's definitely gonna wear out when you're hitting like the 1 hour mark. And then from there, I mean, I already talked about the co-hosting, picking up. I mean, you picked up a lot of great things from just like saying random things, or when people had to leave, or hyping them up. And then if Marianne came through, that was like a good like tag off that I was watching behind the scenes. I mean, that's kind of like the DJ world. There was back then when DJs, there was a DJ and there was an MC. So you can kind of see like now everyone's trying to like mold it into one, like one thing, like you have to do both. But that was usually like the best performance, is when you had a DJ doing music and you had an MC, and you kind of like play off of each.
MC Marianne Cristales.
I'm so everyone and their acronyms. I'm dead today.
But this is being recorded too. This is the after hours. But yeah, just I mean, keep that in mind too. Is always try to have that DJ and MC vibe going on, because it definitely worked for you today. When you're like, even if it's just whoever's doing admin, that you can just talk, or whoever's like typing, like they just jump in and like say something random that you can go off of. Always encourage that for whoever's doing your admin in the future, because that was like the biggest change that I saw, is when Marianne and you were able to bounce off of each other, kind of just like even though like you guys weren't playing music, it was still that same energy that I got while watching you two kind of like go back and forth with each other. But aside from that, yeah, just work on your endurance. You already know all your notes that you need to take, and yeah, you've been getting better. So make that 9.5 for me to a 10 next phone jam.
Solid. Thanks for that feedback. That was really good. Chris, do you want to go next?
Sure. So something that went really well, definitely an improvement I noticed like on the admin side was it was a lot smoother. Obviously having fewer people, it's easier to keep track of stuff, but just between me and Annika, just being able to transition between our shifts without like having the overlap. So we were both able to do that really smoothly. So that was really good. And then also, I also like the kind of tag teaming thing, because like, when one person, like it's kind of hard to maintain your energy the whole time and seem like really authentic and into it. So when you have 2 people and like kind of bounce off of each other, like not only can you kind of supplement the other person's energy, but you can also feed off of each other and kind of increase it. And it seems more like an interactive experience. So it seems more like something that multiple people are doing, as opposed to just like, one person sitting and talking at whoever. So I think that's really good. And that might be something that we might want to consider doing just like regularly, to have like another person that's kind of just like feeding off. So we have some more support like out loud for our main host. And something I think could have gone a little bit better. I mean, it was really good. I think just like moving forward as we start to develop more of like a script and something that's a little more solid, so we don't have to improvise quite as much. So it's like we have certain things so we can like hit certain points like a little more smoothly. But I think even with what, you know, improvisation we did have to do tonight, or well, not we, but like the hosting team that you guys had to do tonight, it was really good and it seemed really natural. So it's really just like kind of nitpicky stuff.
Nice. I like that. I put that down actually. I think you're right, and I think that we are going to apply that. We're just going to officially have a host and a co-host, and it'll always be two people talking. So solid.
I feel
Okay.
I was thinking of this while Chris was talking. I feel kind of to add on to that, it would be nice to encourage the DMs to like participate and talk pretty often as well to vibe as a co-host. So like let's say let's say like Kubi were here, he could come on. Edson would be the one hosting, and then Kubi as a DM would like bring up the energy a lot, like you did today, Marianne. Like just like bouncing off one another with Edson. So yeah.
Okay, that's a good one. DMs as co-hosts or hosts. Got it. Okay. All right. Anything else, Ted or Day, that you guys want to comment on of what went really well? Nope. Okay. Ted said no. All right, cool. So then let's end this meeting here. And where's my mouse? All right. And let me go ahead and put this here. But one thing, really quick, Edson, with your I was also curious with your witty lines. Would you say there was anything anything that helped you with that, or it just kind of just came natural, like impromptu, kind of a gut, you know?
What are witty lines? I'm not.
So you had a lot of witty lines today, actually. Like one-liners that create an interaction, or one-liners that like really hypes people up. Like,
Oh,
hey,
that was if it wasn't in the phone jam agenda sheet,
Yeah.
then I came up with it.
Okay, cool. Because I want to help other hosts do it that way, but I don't know how to train them in doing that. I don't think it is something natural. I don't know.
I think it is. I don't necessarily think like that's something that you can kind of train people on, because everyone has like different lines, and
Can't train instinct.
Yeah,
it's
true.
you know, we can have these lines, which I think is great. And of course, we can add on more. We can have more stuff on there. Like every time we hear somebody, it's like, oh, that's a good one. So I think it's like it's all natural.
Okay.
I'm on a PDI call, so.
All good. Thank you. You're all good. All right, cool. So with that being said, thank you, Edson. Wrap up your VDI call. Thank you, Chris. Right. Thank you, Ted, Day, and Herbie. Right. It's funny because this is really just the beginning, but I can't wait to see where we take this in just a matter of weeks. So thank you all for working hard, and hopefully we will see you soon. Have a good night. Peace.
Oh, I have to end the meeting. Bye.